Hi, I'm Carrie and welcome to my channel and welcome to my second monthly musings. Whew, what a month. That's all I can say is, man, what a month this has been. And this is like take 4 of this video. So let's hope that this one's the keeper. So anyway, if you're here, I'm sorry about that little ramble. My monthly musings is where I share with you what I worked with for the month. I will show decks, I will show my journal, I will talk about my YouTube channel, and then any randoms that I may decide to throw in. And I'm going to try to not make it quite as rambly as I did last month. And I really don't have that much to show you as far as randoms go because this month was very busy. Okay, so I'm going to talk about my YouTube channel very briefly. First, I want to welcome and thank all the new subscribers that have come over the past month or so. I appreciate you, and I really appreciate the likes and the comments and interacting with people. It's been really fun. I wrapped up my charm series. It is done. So that last video posted last week, I believe, and I enjoyed doing it. I took the charms very quickly and I find them very easy to do. So it's a favorite thing of mine, and I have some clients that really love it also. So let me know if you do read charms or if you watch those videos and you liked them. I haven't decided if I'm going to continue anything about charms or not, but like I said, those are all put together in a playlist for you. So if that's something that you like, or you happen to know somebody that is into charm reading or charm casting, then you could share that playlist with them. And yeah. So what else did I do? I started a new series. It's going to be an ongoing series called #Working a Tarot Spread. I think the first one's already come out. And that's where I find a tarot spread either from Instagram, out of guidebooks, from any of my spread books, Facebook, wherever. Source them from different places, and I'm going to show you how I would read them. I like seeing how other people read their spreads. I really enjoyed participating in that 9-card spread and watching everyone else's videos. So if you feel like doing that hashtag, great. That would be fantastic. You can tag me in that or hashtag it and I'll put it in a playlist or whatever. So I am doing that. I'm still getting my groove here and figuring out what my channel's about. I think I said before, I didn't think I was going to be doing like a lot of unboxings. I will show you some things, but I don't necessarily think I would be going through my whole deck collection or anything like that. Maybe since I got the community feature, I'll put up a poll if I can figure out how to do it, and ask like maybe what decks you want me to walk through or show. I am not good at walkthroughs. I tend to ramble a lot without flipping the cards. I will figure it out, but you know, I will get it together for you if that's something you want to see. Let me see here. Oh, in a couple days, I am finally uploading my ancestor communication and how I do it. I talked about that when I showed my handmade decks video, and I had a couple people say that yes, they would like to see how I did that. So I am finally, I finally got that situated, and I am, hopefully I didn't hit the mic, and uploading that. So that will be coming out in a couple days for those that were wondering where the heck that was. And I think that is all I have to share as far as my YouTube channel goes. So in the category of randoms, I have nothing. I really don't. I have nothing. It was such a busy month for me. It was just it was a very, very busy month. The only thing I did do is I picked up this book, Haunted, by Chuck, I don't know, Palahniuk. He is the author of a Fight Club, if anybody's seen that movie with Brad Pitt, and I think it's Ed Norton is the main character. He is the author of that book. And I will tell you just a little bit what this book is about. It's a novel made up of 23 horrifying, hilarious, and stomach-churning stories. They're told by people who have answered an ad for a witness retreat, unwittingly joined a survivor-like scenario where the host withholds heat, power, and food. As the storytellers grow more desperate, their tales become more extreme, and they ruthlessly plot to make themselves the hero of the reality show that will surely be made from their plight. This is one of the most disturbing and outrageous books you'll ever read, one that could come only from the mind of Chuck Palahniuk, or however you say his last name. So I wanted to read this, but I never got around to it. I didn't even get to crack it open. So hopefully sometime in the month of November, I will get to read some of this at some point. And I think that covers all the randoms for October. So I didn't know what to put this in. As far as category, I guess, witchy, manifesting, intention setting, whatever category you want to put this in. So this is something I did make time to do in October, and I made up a couple of these little jars. At the beginning of every year, I create a money bowl and a manifesting money bowl, working, whatever you want to call it, intention setting. It's really all lumped into the same thing. And I do that at the beginning of every year, and then I add to it, take away from it, or rework it when I feel the energy waning. So my spiritual space is my dining room. And because we don't really use the dining room, there's just the three of us, and so I only use the dining room if I'm hosting family for dinner or whatever. So I took it over several years ago as my spiritual space. But when the holidays come and I decorate, like I have this and another hutch over there and my pie safe over here, my like mini altars or my working areas for things like manifesting and that, I don't have out anymore. So I wanted to continue doing it, and I decided to try doing it in these little jars. And these little jars you can pick up at the Dollar Tree if you're in the States. I don't know if Canada has dollar stores or Dollar Trees. But I did a manifestation intention setting for my YouTube channel. And so I keep it here in my spiritual space where I do my filming and I do my readings, and everything happens in here. And I filled the jar with different things. My little intention is down here in the bottom on that piece of paper. And then I have some herbs and I have some crystals in here. The herbs are for different things of drawing to, and the crystals are for different things. So I did make time to do this, and then I can sit in here like when I'm trying to think of my what to come up with for videos and that, and I can rub it between my hands, or I can open it up and I can smell it. Oh my God, it smells so good. And shake it, just hold it, and work with it that way. I did do a second little manifestation intention setting jar that's more personal, that's upstairs in my bedroom. And I work with it in the evenings. So, yeah, I did these this month. I found time to do these. which I enjoy doing. And then once my room gets back to normal after Christmas and that is over, then I'll redo my money jar. So do you do little intention settings, manifestations, or anything in jars like this, or other workings in other ways? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, let's talk about my practice and the decks that I used this month. I used for my weeklies the Dark Mansion Tarot with the Samhain Seasons of the Witch Oracle. I know they don't go together. I know they don't look good together. My goal was just to try to pick up some of this energy and not to continue to ramble on about what a chaotic month this was, but it really affected my practice. I wasn't connecting with anything. I wasn't. And the more I wasn't connecting with these weekly readings, and the more frustrated I was becoming. So I ended up putting the Samhain Oracle away altogether. And then I tried using the Dark Mansion on its own. My only frustration with the Dark Mansion this month was I was just struggling with the cardstock and the shuffling. So I did that for a few weeks. Tried to use these two together. But like I said, it wasn't working out for me. So when my normal spreads, my normal weekly layout, I guess, wasn't working, I tried this. And this is from hollyoddly.com, the same site that sells the mini Divi decks. And this is her little spread deck. And I think there's only 20 cards. I think that's what I counted, was 20 cards. So I tried using it, and it was okay. It just, you know, every once in a while you have those off months or those off weeks where, you know, your normal practice isn't jiving with you and isn't working out like you hoped. And that's just what happened. That's what happened this month. So then at the end of the month, I finally got in the Trick or Treat Tarot. I had hoped that it was arriving at the beginning of the month, but there was a big hiccup with the shipping, which is fine. So I worked with it. I only got to work with this a week, but I love it so much. And this deck brought me the best readings for the month, probably because I just attached to this deck very quickly. So I'm going to try to find a way or use it, even though Trick or Treat, Halloween, and that is done and over. I think I'm going to pull this out and use it for other reasons because I loved it and I didn't get to use it that much, and I don't want to wait a whole year until next Halloween time to use it again. So I did use this very briefly, but what saved my spiritual practice this month is this little deck, and it is almost the same size as pretty much. It's just a little skinnier, the same size as like a playing card deck. And this is what saved me. It really did. This is the mini Divi Ghost deck, and this is on hollyoddly.com, and I've already done a walkthrough of this deck, so you can look on my channel for that. But this when I wasn't connecting to my weeklies, this is when I decided to turn to something like this. And I was trying to figure out what I could do in order to keep myself connected. Because, you know, we usually turn away when we're exhausted or we're overwhelmed. And I wanted to make sure that I kept that connection to spirit open. And I don't know why I felt that way. I just really did. It was like so super important to me this month to keep this connection flowing. So I thought, I'm going to get this little deck and I'm going to put it on my end table. And then whenever I felt drawn to it, and I only did this once a day, and not necessarily every day, but it was a lot. I did it a lot of days this month. Whenever I was feeling frustrated, or I felt that I just needed a message, or I was confused about something, I would go ahead and I would pull this deck out and I would just shuffle it and I would say, what do I need to know right now? What is the most important message that I can hear right now? And this deck did not disappoint. It was so relevant and so spot on for me every single time I pulled it. I didn't take time to journal any of these messages. I would just, I would put it in the box like this with the most recent card face up while the rest were face down. And so the next time when I pulled the deck out, then I would see what my last message was and reflect on it. But it was very, very relevant. And it was something I desperately needed for my practice this month. And it was something that was just simple, and it wasn't anything I had to overthink or figure out, or it was just something that was simple, and I needed simple and easy this month. And I think that's why it worked so well. And because I love that so much, I am going to pick one of the other. I have 5 of her 6 mini Divi oracles, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick one of the other ones, and I am going to use it for the month of November. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to set it on my end table and pull a card from it whenever I feel I really need that message. Another deck that I worked with this month is the Divine and Play Tarot. And I've had this for a while, but just hadn't used it that much. But it is one that I keep out on my coffee table, so I can just grab it if I want to just shuffle a deck, or if I want to do a quick reading with it, one that I'm not journaling or anything like that. But I did it something different with it this month. And what I did was I shuffled it up, and I used it with my husband and my son. I guess I should have said that. But what I did was I'm like, think of a question. Think of any question that you want an answer to. And I said, but don't tell me the question. And I would shuffle it up and fan the cards out. And I'd have them pick 2 or 3 cards out of it. And then I would just read the cards to them and tell them what it meant and what I felt. And without them telling me the question. And go into this whole reading for them. And I never do that. I never do that. And then after I was done explaining, I would say, okay, now tell me your question. It was right on with whatever they were asking. So it was fun to do. And it was just another way that I was trying to keep that connection open to spirit for me, because I was feeling so disconnected in other areas of my life. So that was fun. And I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to continue doing that with them. And finally, 2 more decks that I used in the month of October that I am going to continue. Let's do it this way and bring them in. That I'm going to continue to use from here on out is this Sasuraibito Tarot with the Urban Crow Oracle. And these, oh, they work beautifully, beautifully together. I couldn't have found a better pairing in these two decks. And if you watched my Mine All Mine video, I had said that I used this deck for shadow work. And I bought this deck specifically for working with the goddess, the Morrigan. And I started that practice this month. That's what I started doing. So when I started initially with working with the Morrigan goddess, and I tried just pulling the Urban Crow Oracle for it, I was like, okay, this is great. And I get this message and I understand the relevance of it and what it's pertaining to. But I wanted something deeper. And I sat in front of my tarot cabinet, I don't know for how long, just looking in there, thinking, what is it? What can I take that I can use to get this other thing? And this just like, it jumped right out after I sorted out what I was looking for. And I'm so glad that I decided to use it because, like I said, they are beautiful together, and their energy just cooperates well with each other. And I am getting some very relevant and very powerful readings with this Morrigan goddess energy using these two decks. And I am loving this practice. And this and the mini Divi Ghosts is the most connected I have felt this month. So I am going to definitely continue on with using those two decks together. And that is all the decks I used. And then I'm just going to talk about my journal very briefly. Okay, like I said, I'm just going to talk very briefly about my journal. And then we will wrap things up. So obviously this is to cover up a reading that I did for Mercury retrograde. So I obviously went with the Halloween theme in my journal, and I kept like everything the same, tried to keep little pumpkins and things like that. Man, I didn't dream at all. This is so not like me. My dream pages are usually full by the end of the month, and I have not been dreaming at all recently, which is very unusual. So I still worked, with my monthly card, and I gotta try to put this like this, and wrote some stuff in there. And I'm still doing this, which I talked about in my journal thing, and I believe I talked about last month and whatever. And that's where I take the primary zodiac energy of the month, see what house, where it falls, and then I write how it's all relevant to my life. And I will continue this, and I'm trying to, like I said, learn more about that. The crystal that we used in the one Facebook group was supposed to be petrified wood. And I did not get to work with this like I had hoped to. And I took their journal prompts and I pulled cards for it instead. So I'm hoping that I can get back to work with this at another time when I'm in the right mindset to do it. And then my weeklies as usual. And then you see what I did here for the new moon and full moon? Nothing. I didn't have energy to dedicate to it. So that did not get done. But let's see if I can cover this up. So, and then my other one I have written on a scrap piece of paper. I have to write it all up in here. But I did, at the beginning of the month, I did a thinning the veil spread. And I did what is coming into focus as the veil thins. And then the next question was, what will be released as I move into this energy? And then the next one is, what is beginning to transform in my life as this veil begins to thin? And then I pulled a card for an ancestor, comfort message from the ancestor, and a guidance message from spirit. And then I wrote on my cards and, did all my journaling about that. And then this, wait, what do we got going on? Okay. And then this, where I'm going to write in my reading that I have done. Then I went back at the end of the month and I wrote in, or I did another reading of what actually came into focus, what was actually released, and what actually transformed for me this month. And then a comfort message and a guidance message. And I compared the two and looked, and it was very interesting how that played out. Have you ever done anything like that, where you've done a reading at the beginning of the month or something like that, of what's a focus, a release, and then seeing at the end of the month if that actually came to fruition and happened, and how that played out for you? But that was very interesting to see, and I'd like to find different spreads to adopt maybe every month and work on, like I said, seeing how that plays out at the beginning of the month, and then my write-up for the end of the month. And that was all for my October journal. Now, for November, I'm going to add another thing to my practice, and that is the runes. And I don't know if I'm going to, well, I don't know. I'll just talk a little bit about it now, and then we'll wrap up this video. So I had mentioned in a group, let me get this out of the way. Okay. I had mentioned in a group that I thought I was interested in learning runes and getting a rune deck, but I didn't want to invest in actual runes and a bunch of books and things like that, in case this is something that I don't feel is going to work for me. So I thought about getting some rune cards, and I had many beautiful decks suggested to me, but a lot of them were independent and they were extremely pricey, and I didn't want to spend that on a set of cards that I didn't know if I was going to actually keep it as a part of my practice or not. So when Llewellyn was having their big Samhain sale and everything was 35% off, I went ahead and picked up this deck. That's where I found it. And it's just the Runes Oracle cards by Lo Scarabeo. And this is what I'm going to use for my rune practice right now. And because I know nothing about it. And if I enjoy the energy of it and what I get from these cards, then I will look into an actual set of runes and a more in-depth book. This guidebook is, because it's Lo Scarabeo, is mostly in other languages. This is the English part just right up front, just this little section right here. But how it breaks down is there's the meaning, a keyword, Then there's associations. Then it explains the image. Then there's runic inspiration, a suggestion for meditation, and the power of the rune. And I like that. And I'm going to see, like I said, how this fits into my practice. But I think for November, I'm just going to pull one of these cards for the rune energy for the entire month, like I'm doing the zodiac energy, like my monthly card, and so on. And I'm going to journal about it. And I'm going to write everything down and then see how relevant that is or what comes about from that energy in my journal. And then if I like it, then we'll go from there. I should have said nudity was in this deck. But that's my plans for these rune cards. And then if it's something that I think I'm going to stick to, then maybe I will look at the more fancier, more expensive or whatever decks. Or like I said, get an actual set of runes with its own separate book and start doing some casting. But we'll see how that goes. Baby steps. One little thing at a time. So that is it. I think I covered everything. I hope you stuck with me. And if you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, whatever, hit that notification bell, all that good thing to keep me growing and being seen and, all that happy stuff. So thank you so much for being here. Again, thank you for liking and commenting and subscribing to my channel. I appreciate you. You have no idea. I don't even know if that comes across, but I really do. I appreciate you. So until next time, bye.